It was the dark, cold and unforgiving winter of England in the midst of COVID times in 2021. And back then I was this 14-year-old self that kept on waking up at 5 a.m. just to prove people wrong. And literally using all of my demons as artillery power to fight against my lizard brain, who wanted literally nothing else but to go back to that bed over there and sleep on that pillow and get the covers up, be nice and warm again. One phrase from Joe Willing, I think that's the guy. It's literally so true that when you wake up, your pillow literally caresses your face and says, you know what, just come back to sleep. It's fine, everything's fine. And so every day I fought wars with my lizard brain telling me to go back to sleep. And I won a lot of those wars for a consistent 3 months. Some of the demons of which were, if I could wake up at 5 a.m. and do a bout of deep work, perhaps like 2 hours of deep work before school, I would have a sort of superiority complex over people. It would help my superiority complex and therefore help my confidence a little bit and sort of boost my respect of myself, and then therefore making others respect me. That was sort of the mindset change I had back then. Until one day around the 3rd month of doing this consistently, literally over 3 months, just every day hammering away at 5 a.m. I felt this weird, empty feeling in myself. This sick feeling that it almost felt like I was going to throw up and vomit. But it wasn't quite there yet. It was just a constant feeling of vomit. But then it was combined with this empty, soulless feeling that, honestly, if someone came out of nowhere and just pushed me with one hand, I could probably fall over pretty easily. And so with that in mind, I searched all over Google, but I couldn't really find answers to it. Because now that I think of it, back then, I was heavily sleep deprived. That was definitely the cause of it. So me being worried about this feeling of mine, and previously having health scares about my health, literally thinking that I had terminal diseases, I took it serious. I took this random empty feeling I had seriously, because I didn't want anything to happen to my health ever again. I thought, why not? Let's just take care of my health for a little while. And so gradually over the weekends, I incorporated the schedule of waking up at 8 a.m. and 7 a.m. instead of 5 a.m. I just had my weekends as a rest break, and that seemed to eliminate most of that feeling for me. That honestly restored me back to my whole self. It felt like I was whole again and I could actually press the weights at the gym. And so that's why I think I'm qualified to tell you how to wake up at 5 a.m. I can literally wake up at 5 a.m. now. Just so before we start this video, I think I should give you a disclaimer so that I don't feel like I'm scamming you. As of right now, I'm literally waking up at 7 a.m. consistently because I feel like the 5 a.m. isn't necessary right now. Isn't necessary because literally if I wake up at 5 a.m. there's no sunlight, and I don't go outside and do the Huberman tip of getting sunlight in your eyes. It's just a whole bunch of things that I don't need. For my thing right now, for my purpose, for all of the tasks, my most important task, which is recording, it doesn't require me to wake up at 5 a.m. And not to mention, if I wake up at 5 a.m. and literally start recording, my whole family will literally roast me to a fucking smithery. They won't allow it. And so this is why I'm recording and literally waking up at 7 a.m. But honestly speaking, I can still wake up at 5 a.m. consistently if I choose to. So I recently had a trip back to Malaysia, and for a good 2 weeks of going back to Malaysia, I consistently woke up at 5 a.m. Because honestly, if I wake up at 7 a.m. in Malaysia, there is no chance of me getting that deep, silent Sigma work done. Literally, if I wake up at 5 a.m. in Malaysia, it's so much easier to do work. I literally just wake up, take a cold shower, come back to my room, silence. It's literal, complete pitch black silence. And so that is, I guess, a proof that I'm qualified to make this video for you. I'll try my best to share my experiences and what I should have done correctly in those 3 months of waking up at 5 a.m. when I was back in the winter times, and just how to actually wake up at 5 a.m. healthily and correctly without sacrificing your health in the process. So the first topic is questions. Now, all of these questions are pretty important. They give you a third person's perspective into this decision of yours. So perhaps you came into this video of, should I even wake up at 5 a.m.? Or maybe you came into this video specifically to learn how to wake up at 5 a.m. In that case, yes, I will teach you how to wake up at 5 a.m. But honestly, this is such an important part, because honestly, if you don't need to wake up at 5 a.m., don't. The first question is, why do you need to wake up at 5 a.m.? Maybe make a list, get a piece of paper, write down all of the reasons why you got this desire of waking up at 5 a.m. Perhaps it's a real wholesome idea of, I want to do some real work before school so that I don't really waste my whole week and then wait until the weekends to do my work, because I don't want to do that, right? I want to utilize the whole week and do my most important task in the morning before I literally deplete my brain in school. Perhaps that's the reason, and that's a very good wholesome reason to do it. But perhaps there is another reason. This is the reason that if you write down on the paper, this is probably the most useful to you if you have this reason. And the reason is, I saw some guy on YouTube, some CEO grindset guy who literally just drives in his Lamborghini just to think. And his work literally consists of replying to emails. Just this fake CEO bullshit. And perhaps you saw that video of him literally just waking up at 5 a.m, taking cold showers, and you get this feeling of being a Batman and then you want to replicate it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Honestly, I used to do that when it was the 3 months of consistent 5 a.m. But do you need to? Do you need to wake up at 5 a.m? And perhaps another reason I just thought about of why you want to wake up at 5 a.m. is to prove people wrong. It's to prove all of the people at school who think you're a dork, who think you're a nerd by simply your appearance, and you want to prove to them and take some revenge in a way. And doing this, you get where this came from and whether you actually need to do it or not. And so this leads me to the second question of out of perspective, out of scope questioning. And this is, what would my 85-year-old think about this? So let's say you're planning to wake up at 5 a.m. for a consistent 2 months, because this is a period of your life where you're going to monk mode, insane, CEO grindset. What would your 85-year-old think of this? Would he think that you were stupid to sacrifice your health, sacrifice your sleep? Or would he just think like, or would he literally just forget about this? It won't come off as important right now, but perhaps 2 weeks in your 5 a.m. grind set, you'll find that maybe on some days you're a little bit sleep deprived, and then you still wake up and slowly your health starts to decline. And we're going to get into some tips on how to like not sleep deprive yourself and do 5 a.m. healthily. But perhaps your 85-year-old self would think that it was definitely not worth doing this. It was definitely not worth doing that 3 months of sleep deprivation 5 a.m. Sure, I built literally the habit of waking up at 5 a.m. Now I can do it consistently, but I genuinely think I stunted my growth by doing that. Because honestly, I was 14 at the time and I was still growing, still in puberty. I'm still in puberty now, I'm pretty sure. But that was like the pinnacle age of where my spine would literally go up. And I literally got like 4 hours of sleep a lot of nights in that 3 months. So carefully think about this. And if you are going to do it, just a quick tip here that I'm still going to cover later on in the video, but make sure you're going to sleep at the same time every single night. And so this leads me to the second topic of my fatal mistake. this is going to be more in depth on all of my mistakes I did during the 5 a.m. 3 months phase of my life. And so the first point is, it probably stunted my growth. So I talked about this briefly back then, but I was still having these bad habits of scrolling on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, just watching the YouTube of these, watching this, like, I remember specifically every single night when I went to bed, it was still fucking 2 a.m. I was just watching these motivational clips of like fucking Brian Tracy or some shit. And just these old people just came out of nowhere on these TikToks with these like inspirational Sigma male music that just, honestly, I went into this giant rabbit hole every single night, and I just went 2 a.m., 1 a.m. And regardless of that, because I fell in love with a guy called David Goggins and the CEO Grindset, I kept on waking up at 5 a.m. regardless of literally going to sleep at 1 a.m. And I remember specifically, I went downstairs once, or even multiple times. I was waiting for my eggs to boil, and I was sitting in my chair, and I almost fell asleep right there and then. I was just like, fucking it. It was just like that. And that was when I really felt the impact of sleep deprivation, and specifically one thing Iman said. I remember a quote from Iman Gaji. So he's this, like, I'm sure you know him if you're watching my video, self-improvement genre, just the SMMA guy, right? But essentially he said that when he was waking up at 5 a.m, so when he was on his like Sigma male grind set of 15 years old, you can literally look back at his videos because he's documented them. But he said one thing that really hit me. When I was waking up, I couldn't do meditation, because if I did meditation straight after I woke up, I would fall back asleep because of how sleep deprived I was. And so another tip from Iman Gaji himself is, this personally I really resonated with, but the tip is, get some good sleep hygiene. It's worth yourself like prioritizing your sleep rather than doing the CEO grind set when you're specifically growing. Literally when you're 14, 15, during the midst of puberty, so that you don't stunt your growth. And so the second point is, if I look at pictures at the time, I had a fucked insecure look to me. This is another mistake that is literally visibly noticeable. And so when I look back at the times of literally when I scroll back to my phone and look at me taking gym pics, because at that time I was going to the gym as well. I was just starting at the gym, and honestly, I had this look in my eyes of just sheer fucking pain, bro. It was, fuck me. You know when you look at someone and you can just tell their mental state. You just fucking go to the gym, or you walk past someone, you just fucking look at them, and then you just fucking tell that they have something wrong with them. You just tell that they have this, maybe they have bad mental health. You tell that they're like charismatic, but then they have this like deep insecurity inside. You just have this antenna for people, but like there are these people who are really, really vibrant with their inner state. So I was literally one of those people. If you looked at me, if I show you this picture, which honestly is deep in some archive in my phone, if you looked at this picture, you would literally look at this guy's face and think that he was crippling in sleep deprivation and mental health state. He just wasn't sure of himself. It's just not a guy. He just wasn't there. He just wasn't present with his body. He just, I felt sorry for that guy. Honestly, if I could go back in time, I would treat myself so much better. I guess you can relate the 5 a.m. sleep deprivation to literal deprivation of physical appearance as well. So the third point is, what really fucked me was going to the gym. Needed literally 2 extra hours just from going to the gym because of working out. And me going to sleep at 2 a.m. did not help with that. So if you didn't know, and if you don't work out, you wouldn't notice, but if you ever worked out hard and vigorously before, especially with a gym bro. If you're literally going in there, not chatting, not like chatting about, oh, we did this, that's so fucking funny, this happened in the video game. Instead of doing that, you're doing exchanges with your friend. If you can become such close friends with each other, so that you can share your secrets, share your deepest secrets of what happened at school, who has betrayed you with each other, then you can use that with each other to put visualizations in each other's heads and make yourself push those problems off of your chest. So let's say you're doing your bench PR and you've added 2.5 kg on both sides, and you're going to increase your bench PR by 5 kg in total. You have your gym bro of literally, you filled him up with all of your problems. You've talked to him about who's betrayed you at school, who you fucking hate, and then he makes these vivid fucking visualizations of someone you hate and someone you like, and then making them go together in this weird combination of fuckery, and then you push that weight off of your chest. And so that, honestly, I know I'm going on a side tangent there, but that is one of the things that made me work out very, very hard. And so if you go to the gym and work out literally vigorously with these vivid visualizations with your fucking excellent gym bro, you'll find that you need literally 2 or 3 more hours of sleep. It feels that way. And honestly, from coming back home from a deep fucking challenging workout, you just go on that bed, take a cold shower, go back on that bed, fucking hell, you're knocked out in 2 minutes. And this brings me to the third main topic, which is non-negotiables. I believe this is probably the most important part, alongside the how to actually wake up at 5 a.m. so that you actually wake up at 5 a.m. with ease. And so non-negotiable is get yourself at least 9 hours of sleep or more, because that is the biggest help that you can ever get for waking up at 5 a.m. without any like fuckery in your head, any, oh, I want to go back to sleep. If you get a solid amount of like hours of sleep, then that is literally going to give you so much more artillery to fire against your lizard brain telling you to go back to sleep. That is the biggest help you can ever get. And so this is the second point. 10 hours of sleep if you're hitting the gym. So if you're hitting the gym, it would make sense to give yourself at least 2 extra hours, or even just 1 hour. It makes a difference, honestly. If you just go to the gym, if you try the gym and then go back to sleep and then wake up at 5 a.m, you'll know the fucking difference. You'll know the difference of not going to the gym and going to the gym. You'll know and you'll feel it. And so give yourself that extra 2 hours of sleep so you can rebalance yourself, so that you feel like you haven't went to the gym. Of course, your muscles will be sore and etc., but just give yourself that 2 hours of sleep. Be nice to yourself. And number 3 is drink other forms of caffeine, not coffee. Especially if you are 14 years old and 15 years old. I don't think it's good to drink the blackest of coffee. I don't think it's the best idea to literally inhale caffeine. And it's a good tip from Andrew Huberman himself to delay yourself 90 minutes after waking up before you actually take caffeine. So this is because your brain, before like 90 minutes after you wake up, your brain is literally just filled with this chemical called adenosine, and essentially if you drink caffeine within that 90 minutes, it's not going to give you the caffeine effect that you're going to need, because it's literally all adenosine. Like the caffeine wants to go to this receptor, right? But adenosine is literally just here, and then caffeine is literally just waiting here, and it can't go into the receptor, and it won't give you that boost of energy. What I used to do is literally chug coffee. Like I used to have a whole fucking French press of coffee, just literally 2 cups of worth. I was just sipping that when I came back to my workstation, and that was probably a very bad habit and probably fucked on my caffeine intolerance a bit, and probably made me rely on caffeine a lot. And That's probably a big contributor to my afternoon crashes. Caffeine crash is what I'm trying to say. So try to drink green tea and just other forms of caffeine first, and then once you hit that 90-minute mark, by all means take your coffee. I know for a fact that you may have this self-limiting doubt, or it's not even a self-limiting doubt, it's just this thought in your head that you want something warm, you want something to accompany you to your workstation. This is certainly what I had, of literally wanting a hot drink beside me so that I didn't feel empty. And honestly, me boiling those eggs and making coffee, it was only because I wanted to fill that gap. And so if you do want a good drink, something warm beside you to wake up at the cold, harsh winters of 5 a.m, try to get some other form of caffeine first. Maybe green tea, maybe English tea with a little splash of milk. So that, I don't know how to explain this. I kind of, at that time, I wanted something like thicker. I wanted something that had like a grainy type of feel, or just a mixture type of feeling. Not just water, not literally just boiled water steeping tea leaves. I wanted something brewed. I wanted coffee or just tea or just a thicker substance so that it made me feel whole. I don't know, this is some bro science shit. Just bear with me, and perhaps when you try this, you'll get what I mean. So this leads me to the last point in non-negotiables, which is if you couldn't make it to bed last night early, take the morning off and sleep till 7 a.m. So if you couldn't, for whatever reason, maybe it was family, maybe it was work, if you couldn't make it to bed early last night to get your solid 9 hours of sleep to 5 a.m, treat yourself nicely. Please just take this as advice. I know you may be ignoring this. I know you may ignore this because literally you think that 5 a.m. I'm fucking David Goggins. Please listen to me. This is so worth your time to prioritize your health first. And looking back now, I would have wanted a few more inches to my height, and I would have wanted more and a better state of mind and better mental health. Because back then, sleep deprivation was definitely one of the causes of my bad mental health. And just a message to you, please take care of yourself, bro. Please take my advice on this. If you couldn't make it early to bed last night, just take the morning off. It's only one morning. And generally speaking, 1 day off is fine, but 2 days off, it's a little bit harder. So if you take 1 day off, the next day you can still get back into routine. But if you take 2 days off, it's going to be a little bit harder. Just take care of your health, bro. So this leads me to the third main topic, which is mindset tools. So the first point is, if you have school, try to have the mindset the only work that matters is the 2 hours in the morning. Now this is sort of a darker mindset that your parents wouldn't agree with, especially if they're like wanting you to become a doctor and do well in academics. But if you have an entrepreneur mind, if you're a young ambitious man who wants to go his own way and become an entrepreneur, genuinely want to be an entrepreneur, then have this dark mindset that, honestly, looking back now, this is probably one of the best mindsets that's helped me. The only work that matters is the 2 hours in the morning. So literally what I used to do is wake up, do all of the important work, my highest contribution task. I'll go on a slight side tangent here, but if you're waking up at 5 a.m. just to check emails or literally look at the stock market, then is there even a point? Because honestly, back then, now that I think of it, I should have included this as a point, but thank fuck I thought of this as a side tangent. I was waking up at 5 a.m. for a majority part of those 3 months, literally just to look at the stock market and look into Discord and trade NFTs, look into the NFT and crypto market. What a stupid guy. And so this is like a whole different topic of why investment's bad, man. You can check this out in the how to invest video on literally what all of the mistakes I've done with crypto and NFTs and just a whole bunch of things about that. You can check it out in my how to invest video that I think is going to come out before this one. So yeah, if you're literally waking up at 5 a.m. to do some low level tasks, so checking your emails, looking at the stock market, going to literally chat to some people in Discord, I don't think that is the best use of your time. You can obviously choose what is the best use of your time, but it would do you good, at least it did good for me, to think of your highest contribution task. So what this means is your highest leverage, your best task. If you were to, I'll ask you a question. If you were to work only 2 hours per week, so the entire week, 2 hours on your purpose or your hustle or your grind or your business right now, what task would you do? So for example, if it's self-improvement videos, it would be recording. If it was SMMA, it'd probably be cold DMing and I don't know, fucking speaking to clients or something. Once you've defined that, that is really the only task from my own experience that you should be doing at 5 a.m. Do not struggle so hard to wake up at 5 a.m. just to literally fill your mind with dog shit emails, if you get what I mean. If you still want to fill your mind with dog shit emails, fine, but just do that after your contribution task. I think that's the best way to go about it, at least in my own opinion. And so the second point under the mindset tools is use your recent inspiration as a reason to wake up. Mine was, I am a man. So back then, this is not a secret I'm gonna reveal about myself, but I used to be in love with those edits that were like literally reject modernity, reject degeneracy, embrace masculinity. And I even made one of those edits that was literally titled reject hate, embrace hate, and it got a decent amount of views, 500k views, but I've had to delete that. And if you literally look back on my channel, there's a video, I've deleted my 500k Tate edit, and I've had to delete that video because it wasn't serving my YouTube algorithm well. It wasn't targeting the right audience, if you get what I mean. It wasn't targeting the young, ambitious man like you. If you've watched this far, I'm fucking proud of you. And you are a fucking great person. You have a long attention span, and I want to talk to you. I want you in my Discord if you want to join. If you don't want to join, that's fine. But you, if you've watched this far, you are a part of the 1%, and you probably aren't this edit watching fucking low attention span guy. So well done on that part. But essentially, I had this sort of mindset of being a man. So from watching all of these fucking modernity, modernity and embrace masculinity, where literally there's just some LGBT guy or some fat guy, and it switches to some rough manly men doing some manual labor. I had this mindset of David Goggins basically, and one of the main reasons why I woke up, and one of the strong phrases I talked to myself when I literally just woke up was, I am a man, I am man, I am a man, I am man. It served as a 25% boost in my artillery power against my lizard brain. It was pretty strong, but then over time, of course, it gets saturated in your mind, and then it gets less and less and less effective. So use your recent inspiration. If you have new inspiration, go ahead and use that. So the third point is tell yourself when you wake up, you're just gonna, wait a minute, what did I write in this point? Tell yourself when you wake up, you're just gonna go piss and see how you feel and determine whether or not you're going to sleep down. What the fuck? What did I write here? Okay, so I think what I meant by this point is when you wake up, tell yourself that you're going to just go downstairs and see how you feel. So normally, at least for me, when I wake up, I have this feeling of wanting to go to the toilet, and so I walk downstairs, or at least I tell myself, let's just go to the toilet and see how I feel, and then if I still want to sleep, gonna go to sleep. I know this is sort of like a pussy thing to think about, but it serves as a good mindset to have. Because if you literally go downstairs, open all the lights to your kitchen, go through your kitchen, go down the stairs, open lights, go to your bathroom, lights, piss, and then wash your hands with cold water. By the end of all of that, you may very well be a good 30% more awake than you were. And that should also add to your artillery of fighting against your sleepiness. So this leads me to my last and final point. Okay, maybe not last and final point, but the point of how to. This is once again one of the more important parts of this video, is how to wake up at 5 a.m. This part is literally going to contain all of the 5 a.m. advice. So if you see some guy on YouTube, top 3 ways to wake up at 5 a.m. there's going to be their tips in this section. And from watching literally hyper researching about 5 a.m. and watching literally all the videos and even looking at these fucking women, bro. If you literally type out at 5 a.m. wake up or just something to do with 5 a.m. you'll see that there's these so many female channels that are just, I tried waking up at 5 a.m. Waking up at 5 a.m. before school, and they get a lot of views. From watching all of these videos, I got virtually all of the tips I needed, and so here is a mega list of all of the tips from all of those videos. Number 1 is get ALARMY alarm. So this is an app on your phone. If you have an iPhone, it's pretty simple because I have an iPhone. I can explain it this way. ALARMY is an app where you can literally scan the barcode of an item, and then it literally won't stop ringing until you scan that barcode again. So this app is literally called ALARMY, ALARMY. You can install it, scan ideally a barcode in your kitchen so that you have to literally walk downstairs, and then it will save a preset of that barcode, and then it won't stop ringing at like whatever time you set, so 5 a.m. and then until you go downstairs to scan that barcode, and then it'll actually stop ringing. And so the second point under the category of how to is put your phone far away with water next to it, and ideally a light switch next to it. So this is one of the biggest helps I had back in Malaysia. So if you were paying attention, I briefly mentioned that in the 2 weeks of my 2 months in Malaysia, I did a 5 a.m. wake up consistently, but before those 2 weeks, I tried waking up at 5 a.m. and I had some difficulty. Of course, I had a streak of 3 days or so, but then I fell back to the 7 a.m. And partly the reason due to that was definitely because of sleep deprivation and sleeping late. But one of the biggest things that helped me was actually just positioning my phone far away instead of next to me, next to the bed, where I can literally just grab the phone and hit snooze or literally just close it. And so putting it far away makes you get out of bed, and putting a water there, chug it, that's just literally making these incremental steps, incremental additions to your artillery against your little brain. You're literally like, perhaps the bottle's like 10% wakiness, and then the light switch like 30%, and then by doing these little incremental steps of literally getting out of bed, drinking water, flicking on the light switch so that there's literally light in your eyes so that you gain a little bit of circadian rhythm energy, literally it's just chipping away at that sleepiness, and hopefully that helps you. Number 3 is biggest tips for more artillery is get a good amount of sleep, but don't overstress on it because it will lead to even worse sleep. So this is a point I briefly mentioned before. Get a good amount of sleep, as it will literally be your biggest cannon. It will be your biggest fucking tank out there. A good point here I had in brackets is don't overstress on it. If you overstress on 10 hours sleep, 10 out of 10 biohacking sleep protocol, Brian Johnson mode. If you overstress on sleep and you have all of this shit in your mind, I gotta go to sleep on this time, and then I gotta have my room perfectly at 16 degrees, it's going to put a level of stress on you. And if you don't believe me, you can go ahead and try it, and then if it doesn't, then great, you have a excellent protocol without the stress. But generally from what you'll find is that this stress will delay your sleep about an hour or so. It's just not good to have. So if you couldn't have the 10 out of 10 protocol, don't overstress on it. Number 4 is electrolyte drink. So this is an electrolyte drink that I've sort of, you don't need to buy anything for this, is what I'm trying to say. You don't need to buy the fucking element, buy this element so that it's easy, and lemon and Himalayan salt doesn't taste nicer, so just buy this artificially flavored drink element. If you just try a drink of literal water, lemon, like half a lemon, and then pink Himalayan salt, twist that, drink it, and that will actually serve much more energy than the coffee if you drink it in the morning anyways. What I mean by this is during that 90-minute circadian rhythm thing that when you wake up you can't drink caffeine, the best thing you can do there to help your energy in the morning is actually to drink this electrolyte drink, because from the night before of like maybe 9 hours of sleep, hopefully, you'll find that you're actually dehydrated as shit. So if you drink this electrolyte drink, like reboost all of your like body's minerals and just electrolytes, you literally gain so much more energy than trying to drink coffee when that 90 minutes is still fucking there. And yeah, this is a good habit to have as well, because let's say you're a little bit tired throughout the day as well. Let's say in the afternoon you're a little bit tired after having your carbolicious meal, and the best thing to do there is actually just to like have a nap for 20 minutes, or just close your eyes for 20 minutes, or do some non-sleep deep rest, which is a meditation thing. But if you're just feeling a little bit tired some random time in the day, it's probably because you're dehydrated and you don't have salt in you. You don't have the electrolytes and minerals. It's kind of hard to explain with the bro science, but if you literally just look this up, electrolyte drink, it will be a bunch of proof there telling you that if you're just randomly tired out of nowhere, it's probably because you don't have electrolytes. So get your electrolytes in with literally water, pink Himalayan salt, and lemon if you want. And so this brings me to the 5th point, which is get yourself busy. Boiling eggs and making coffee you love will literally provide a warm welcome to the world when you wake up in a cold 5 a.m. morning. I find that if I have something to do, so like boiling eggs or making coffee that I actually love, so I actually kind of like making coffee. It's kind of a fun process and I do enjoy it. So from having these things, these tiny things to do before you go to your work, like don't have it as an email. I'm sorry for not having this like planned out a little bit, but like this is a side thought I came out with. But what I mean by having these little jobs to do is not emails. Don't check your emails. Don't like fucking do some pointless thing that like drains your brain away from the main task, is what I'm trying to say. But do something that you can do on autopilot, basically. Just do something that your subconscious does majority of the time, and then just have the exact same sort of routine. So when I go and make my coffee, I get the cup out first and then get the same amount of coffee out and then weigh it, and just have the same repeated actions so that you can go sort of mindless towards it, and then try to find something that you enjoy to do in the morning. Some fast thing that takes like maybe 10 minutes or so. And then, yeah, that will probably provide a warm welcome to the world. I'll give you an example from one of the days where I was contemplating. I was literally standing in the middle of the kitchen like a fucking psychopath, contemplating whether or not I actually wanted to go back up like to my room to sleep. I literally just got out the pan. I literally just opened the cupboard, got out the pan, boom. I didn't need to go up and sleep anymore. I got out the pan. Literally that action, but I think it triggers, this is some bro science once again, right? But I genuinely think it triggers something in your subconscious brain that makes your brain like kind of run, and then it energizes you. So literally just getting out the pan and repeating that same action that you're going to do every single morning, that helps you significantly. And so another side point is that this will keep you warm and whole to do your work. So without having this empty and fucking starving feeling when you're literally waking up at 5 a.m. and you feel unwelcome to the world, you'll have these two companions to help you. And it's kind of wholesome in a way. And so the sixth point, I think it's this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So sixth point is make sure the work you're doing at 5 a.m. is the highest contribution. So once again, I briefly mentioned this before, but make sure this is your most important task that you're doing in 5 a.m. and make sure you're doing that first. If you have literally some side tasks to do later, if you have to check your email later, do it later, and do your main task first. It's kind of common sense if you think about it. So the seventh point is, if you have glasses, this is only for glasses people, so fuck me, it's for glasses people, alright? Wear it fast to wake up fast if needed, or choose to only wear it once you get up to your workstation for a productivity boost. So what I meant by this is, if you want to wake up fast, but you kind of, oh fuck, I'm just gonna describe this through myself again, but generally speaking, if I want to wake up faster, I put on my glasses and I wake up faster. It puts me to a sense of wakingness, because if I literally take off my glasses, it cues the signal of me going back to sleep, sort of. Because literally, I go to sleep, I take off my glasses, and then that's how I go to sleep. But then if I like wear my glasses too fast, I feel most of the time that it kind of makes my eyes not comfortable. It kind of like it's a little bit too forceful in the morning. This might be a thing that's literally only me, but I feel like if I wear it too fast, it forces my eyes back to the prescription of this lens too fast, when perhaps my eyes have been like, okay, doing some weird stuff overnight and like healed or even got worse. It's a weird thing to explain. And then if you choose to wear it once you get up to your workstation, you'll literally get a productivity boost. So if you literally just don't wear your glasses at all, go down, make your coffee, make your eggs, come back, and then wear your glasses once you're at the workstation, you feel this productivity boost of clarity and motivation, basically, which is pretty nice. It's a very small, incremental, and subtle implementation tip, so you might not feel it. And the last tip under the category of how to is, if you have an air conditioner, turn that shit off immediately. So air conditioner is once again a cue for sleepiness, and generally speaking, in like actual science, so human science, turning off your air conditioner will help, because having a cold environment will make you sleep and make you go into deep sleep, basically, is what Andrew Huberman said. If you have an air conditioner remote, just try to pair that with your previously said with the phone and the water and the light switch. Just put your air conditioner remote there, so that when you're grabbing your phone to turn the alarm off, might as well take your hand and turn off the air conditioner. Now the last and final topic is why to. So excluding literally all of the bad things of sleep deprivation, going to sleep late and waking up regardless of literally going to sleep late, and just literally the empty feeling, all of the bad things, why to. So the first point under why to is, it's a weirdly spiritual, better level of focus. So from what you find, if you wake up at 5 a.m, it's silent, no one's out, literally you're taking souls, David Goggins reference, you'll find that you have this spiritual, I guess you could say spiritual, it's a weird feeling, it's a hyper focused feeling. It's you know when you ever get into flow states, so flow states literally just you hyper focusing on a task for like 3 or 4 hours, and those 3 or 4 hours seem to go by pretty fast, and you have basically the time of your life. If you've just, after you come out of the flow state, you think back to the flow state, and it's actually making you pretty happy that you've done the flow state, and that's basically how you know that you've been in a flow state. But weirdly, waking up at 5 a.m. brings you to a sort of spiritual flow state. it's a good feeling. It's a good focused feeling. And perhaps if you're waking up at 5 a.m. for the first time, this may very well be your first taste of deep work. And so the second thing under the category of Y2 is more time to do more important things before school, if you are entrepreneurial minded. So this is basically common sense. If you are wanting to become an entrepreneur, you truly know it. It's true to your core, you're true to your purpose, you hate the system. You want to retire your mum early, your family early, you want to provide for your family. Good idea to have, good goal, good man. But waking up at 5 a.m. is common sense that you will prioritize your most important work to bring your family to financial freedom first in the morning instead of doing it after school. Because after school, think about it. If you go to school, get drilled, like 2 hours of English, of this teacher speaking in the front of the room, unenthusiastic, but talking to people you don't like and just getting like clowned on occasionally. It kind of drains your brain, doesn't it? Like after school finishes, you walk back home and you sit on your sofa. You feel the depletion in your energy, don't you? Because at least that is what I felt. And so from common sense of that, do your work in the morning. Do your most important thing first thing in the morning. That has been a big help to my progress in life. And so the third thing is a basic discipline: eat the frog, win the morning, which leads to winning the day. Good feeling. So this is basically a subversion of the previous point, which is if you eat the frog. So what eat the frog means is basically doing your hardest task in the morning, your hardest, best task that if you were to only work 2 hours per week, do that task. And then if you literally do that task instead of like scrolling through fucking TikTok or something, you feel throughout the rest of your day that you won the morning. And so you have this gradual sense of happiness throughout the rest of the day because you've done the hardest thing in the morning, and then that may very well lead to you doing more productive things simply because you won. And then now you have the temporary mindset of a winner, a boosted winner, and then now you can go ahead and tackle more tasks. And so the fourth task is use it as a I'm better than you piece of proof. Keep on waking up at 5 a.m. and that will contribute to a I'm better than you type of ego, is what I mean. So the competitive I'm better than you ego is not the bad kind of ego. So the bad kind of ego is I'm better than you, therefore I don't need to do any more work and I'm just gonna sit back and relax. That is the bad ego. That is like the rabbit and the turtle analogy. So the rabbit is too fast, egotistical, turtle beats the race. And so the good type of competitive ego is I'm better than you and I'm going to keep being better than you. And as soon as I see a single sign of you progressing, I get a little bit triggered and I go even further. That is the good ego. And so this leads me to the final point, which is use it to fill the present gap of needing to make haters pay until you actually succeed in life. So success is the ultimate revenge on to any hater that you've ever experienced before. You don't need to directly tell them, look at me now, I prove you wrong now. No, you don't need to do that. From my experience and from my learning of different podcasts from people like Alex Hormozy, the best success is actually to win so much, so hard that you forget about these people and they are looking up. You literally just visualize them because you can't see them looking up because you're so much further away than them in terms of success and just living environment, like in terms of the success as well, that literally they are looking up at you and being jealous. You can literally visualize them and think about them. They're probably looking up at you and they're probably regretting what they said and they should have probably befriended you now that they think about it. And so use this waking up at 5 a.m. to fill the present gap of needing to make haters pay. So if you're anything like me and you have this deep demon inside of you that is every day added to from all of these haters, you want to make them pay with the success. You want to prove it to them that they were wrong, that they were all imbeciles. And so the cope of that is to actually just probably wake up at 5 a.m. That is a good cope to have, because it will add to, once again, the I'm better than you type of mindset, and then it will satisfy that urge for now until you actually reach your success. And so that, I believe, is the end of the video. And if you watch this far, you may very well be a strong, ambitious young man and with a long attention span. If you literally watch all of this way through with a full screen and paid attention to every single detail I've talked about, perhaps you should join my Discord. I would love to have you around. With that being said, in a bit, bro.